Hello and welcome back to Realities of Real Estate. If you're stopping by for the very first time, you're welcome. So today I want you to know that cheap lands often become the most expensive mistake most investors make in their real estate investment journey. But that will not be for you after this episode. Welcome to Realities of Real Estate podcast, where we go beyond social media hype to break down the truths about property investment here in Nigeria. My name is Angela Kelechi Ibako, a real estate expert and your host on this podcast. Whether you're buying from Nigeria or diaspora, my goal is to help you invest smartly, securely, and with peace of mind. If cheap land was always a blessing, there wouldn't be so many abandoned plots, court cases, and frustrated investors. Cheap land looks attractive at the beginning, but many a times it becomes expensive after purchase. So in today's episode, I am explaining why cheap land can turn into one of the most costly mistakes in real estate using real life scenario most people don't talk about. Number one is why cheap land is so tempting. Cheap land appeals because entry price is low, buyers feel they are starting small. It creates a false sense of opportunity. For diaspora investors, especially, cheap land feels like a safe way to own something back home. Now, here's one of the problems associated with cheap land: access problems. You buy cheap land today, on inspection day, access looks manageable. 2 years later, neighbors block the road. The path was never legally approved. You now need to negotiate to buy access too. That extra cost can exceed the original land price. Cheap lands often hide access challenges that only show up later. Number two scenario you should look at is government acquisition aspects. One of the most painful realities that people have faced. Many cheap lands are cheap because they are under government acquisition. They fall within government expansion zones. They are earmarked for future projects. The cost? Demolition. Zero compensation. Total loss of capital. This is not theory. It's something that happens on a regular basis. And one other thing is poor soil and terrain. Cheap land is often waterlogged, swampy, or poor soil. What happens next? High foundation costs, soil replacement, extra engineering work. You see people buying land at 200,000 and spend 6 million just to prepare it for building. That is not cheap. That is delayed expenses. Number four thing you should note is the documentation gap. Cheap lands often comes with incomplete documents, promises of future regularization, unclear ownership history. And the truth is that fixing documentation later can involve legal fees, government penalties, and years of delay. Some documents can never be perfected. Yes. Another aspect is multiple claims and dispute issues. Low-cost lands are often sold by extended families, unauthorized sellers, people without full consent. And what will follow after this kind of purchase is court cases, settlement payments, loss of time and peace. The emotional and financial cost is rarely calculated upfront. You need to be very careful. What about zero or poor appreciation value? Cheap land is sometimes cheap because there is no demand, no infrastructure plan, no economic activity nearby. Years later, the land is still worth almost the same price. Oftentimes, cheap land doesn't grow. They are dead capitals. And the biggest lie about cheap land is that buy cheap now, it will appreciate later. Not all lands appreciate. Appreciation doesn't happen automatically. It is driven by location, demand, infrastructure, and legality. Without this, cheap land stays cheap or becomes a liability. What smart investors do differently when buying is that they don't ask how cheap is it. They will rather ask, is it legally safe? Is there access? What is the future demand? What hidden costs exist? They focus on total investment costs, not just the purchase price. In real estate, cheap land can drain your resources. Cheap lands can steal your peace of mind. Cheap lands can delay your wealth. The goal is not to buy cheap. The goal is to buy right. If you're considering buying land or you want a professional guidance to avoid expensive mistakes, especially if you're investing from the diaspora, Aki Global is here to help you invest with clarity and confidence. Go ahead to contact the number you see on your screen or visit our website at www.akiglobalresources.com, where I'll be available to help you own smart, to live secure, and to invest with absolute confidence. If this episode added value, please go ahead to like the video, subscribe to our channel, share with someone who needs this piece of information. And until I come your way again, cheap land is not a bargain if it costs you your future.